The Eternal Garden Cemetery is getting a facelift with the addition of new sanitary facilities, a shed, and other ground enhancements. The works are part of a push to get Belize City residents used to the idea of a new resting place, and the City Council is investing heavily to make it happen.
If you look at the facility today, over the last month, there has been substantial changes. The area that now you are sitting at has been upgraded with gravel. We recently filled a significant portion of this facility. We put in a new circular road. We installed trees, we installed stones. We fill the entire facility so that people, when they're buried here, they're buried in a way that respects their dignity and respects the fact that their loved ones chose to have them buried in a public facility. This building that we have constructed also is one aspect of our works. And the larger plan is a plan that will cost us $600,000.
That larger plan includes additional benches, additional shade areas, the development of a fountain, and a chapel. The plan is to make Belize City residents at ease with the new facility and realize that the cemetery of old is just too old to be of much further use.
The fact is, for the Lloyd Ridge Cemetery, is we have just outgrown the space. The position really is that we're not accepting new burials at the Lloyd Ridge, and that has been the position for at least a year now. So that if someone wants to be buried in the Lloyd Ridge Cemetery, they have to have already purchased a space previously, or they have to use a grave space that previously deceased loved one is buried in, so that we're doing tombings, for example, there. So if you want to bury two people in the same grave space, we have a certain amount of years that we look at. I think you have to be, the previous burial had to have been above 4 years, because we look at public health issues in terms of having to excavate and things like that. So our priority is to develop this site so that members of the public can feel comfortable using the site.
And that's important because the transition hasn't come without hiccups because of its distance away from the city, which, of course, is an added expense. For some, that is merely an inconvenience, but for others without the means, it is a serious problem, though not an insurmountable one.
I can tell you that over the last week, I waived the grave space for several persons, so that one of the facilities that the City Council does, because it is by law mandated, is that we have to by law bury people, so that if you cannot afford that, we have to bury them anyway. And what we have done is that we have sat down with people who have gone through the difficulty of losing a loved one, and we have waived whatever fees that are necessary in certain time, in those times. And we do this on a regular basis, so that what we want is that we want people to know that they can be buried, or their loved one can be buried in a way that's dignified and comfortable. And we work with people even in relation to the fees.
And even for those who can afford burial, the mayor notes that the fees charged are at cost and not for profit like undertakers in Belize City. Mike Rodon for News 5.